70, so safe to say he is going to have a heavy workload. And he said right now he is ready to go. So we will see a lot of Chris Carson, a lot of Ezekiel Elliott, and maybe some angry runs out of one of those two guys.
It's a breakthrough player of yours, Chris Carson.
He's a beast, definitely a beast.
Thanks, Will. We'll talk to you in a bit.
Absolutely.
Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin spoke to the media yesterday and was peppered with questions about the latest characters in the Steelers saga. Antonio Brown from the latest from Pittsburgh. Let's send it over to Aditi Kinkhabwala.
Okay, after years of covering for Antonio Brown, Mike Tomlin finally said, enough. Now, on Wednesday, he confirmed a few things we reported earlier in the week, that Brown did indeed skip an MRI Friday, that he didn't show to the team's walkthrough Saturday. But he also told us a few new things. He said Brown didn't return his calls Friday or Saturday. He said it was Brown's agent who called him Sunday morning to say Brown was indeed able to play. Tomlin said he told the agent, that's not how decisions are made. Now, Tomlin did say that he hasn't spoken to Brown since seeing him Sunday at Heinz Field. And when asked if a player at some point becomes not worth it, he didn't hesitate in saying certainly. Tomlin also acknowledged that Brown's disappearance affected his whole team.
Absolutely. When we're talking about our darkest hour, okay, we're talking about playing to win a game and needing other dominoes to fall for us to be in the tournament, and the guy not communicating, that is a real element of discussion, certainly.
Several Steelers told me there is definitely a trust issue with Brown going forward. But here's the real key. Tomlin took ownership of the breakdowns in culture. He seemed to really recognize that his incredibly talented team lost a huge opportunity in a year that the AFC is wide open because of all of these distractions. And as multiple members of this organization on multiple levels said to me, perhaps it's for the best that the Steelers are out of the playoffs, because now none of these distractions will be justified. None of this drama will be brushed under the rug, but rather there will be real consequences and real change. Okay?
Thank you so much, Aditi, for all of your work recently, really all season and for many years leading up to what's been going on right now. Aditi's been covering it in and out. Guys, what is your reaction to this press conference?
Well, my reaction is that everybody's in their feelings. Just like the Drake song that was a hit in 2018, seemed like everybody was in their feelings except for Coach Tomlin. Coach Tomlin did a great job. He handled it perfectly. He went chronologically. He talked about everything that happened, the conversation he had, not with Antonio Brown, but with Antonio Brown's agent, saying, yo, this isn't how things work. You can't tell me that your guy is ready to go. You're not a doctor. I love the fact that he owned up to all of the things that were going on, even though all the things that were going on weren't his mistakes. James Jones was on Total Access last night, and I thought he did a great job talking about the relationship between Antonio Brown and Big Ben. And he said if Antonio Brown is going to call Big Ben back, and that's what Big Ben said when he was doing his interview, that shows the strain between the relationship. That shows the lack of respect that Antonio Brown might have for Big Ben in this moment. It could be this particular moment. Now, when I started to think about that deeper, the two guys that are at fault, Big Ben and Antonio, I will not remove blame from Antonio because he made some decisions, not showing up for practice, leaving at halftime, not calling his coach back. These are things I feel like he could have handled better. When you look at the quarterback, which is the head of the family, that's like the father of the field,
sure,
the captain of the team, a guy that you respect as a champion, a soon-to-be Hall of Famer. Big Ben is supposed to fix things. Every team I've been on, when there was drama, if I respected the quarterback and the quarterback respected the team, he handled it. You didn't need coaches. You make a phone call, you get guys in the same room, you talk about it. You dap it up. Even if there was a little bit of a scuffle, you made sure you looked the guy in the eyes and said, we're going to bounce back from this because we're family. Big Ben is the king of passive aggressiveness. Mm-hmm. He's always been. And we know that. You know, he'd come out after a game, talk about Todd Haley. We could have called some different plays. You know, he can talk about the draft pick, Mason Rudolph, and say, well, you know, I don't know if he could help us. I'm pretty surprised by it. But, you know, for me, I'm looking at Big Ben and Antonio, and both of these guys are in their feelings so much. And for as much money as they made and what they've done in this league, they're not stepping up and being men in the right moment.
Did Big Ben skip practice and not show up on the game day?
No. I'm not saying Big Ben is to blame. But the simple fact that Big Ben get on an interview and say, well, there wasn't anything that happened during the week. If there was an issue, then I wasn't there. Actually, you were there, Big Ben, because everybody knows about it. So why would you not address the issue that happened on the field but then passively aggressively say, I reached out to Antonio Brown, he didn't call me back. So now everybody sit back and be like, whoa, Antonio Brown's not returning phone calls. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just keep it real. Say something happened on the field, and we're going to handle it. We'll move on. We're going to keep it in-house because we're family.
What do you think, Peter? There was actually a really interesting snippet from Tomlin's press conference that wasn't in the clip that Aditi just had. Let's run it real quick. They asked Tomlin if he took it personally. Let's hear.
There's disappointment. There's no denying that. But on a personal level, man, I've just learned over the course of time that, man, forget my personal feelings about things or the challenges that come with the position. I don't spend a lot of time focused on that. I better not. I better focus on issues and the people that I serve as a leader and the group and making sure that we're positioning ourselves to be at our best. So that's why I hesitate when you ask that, because I don't know how to answer it, because I don't spend a lot of time dwelling or focused on that.
I think about the personal relationship here. When Antonio Brown's a 6th-round pick and Mike Tomlin's part of the brain trust that says, we need this guy, let's get him up there. When he's the part of the brain trust that says, wait, we're going to give this guy $68 million over 4 years, and we're going to change his life forever. We're going to be a part of that. And I think of the personal relationship that Mike Tomlin has with his players. You want to talk about the Shazier injury last year, what this team went through? Talk about this Le'Veon Bell stuff that's been hovering. You want to talk about the tragedy in Pittsburgh that happened in that community and this team having to put that on their shoulders and saying, let's win one for this town. And then you think about the personal relationship and how it unfolds, and he's got Drew Rosenhaus, his agent, calling and saying, yeah, Antonio's good.
On a game day.
Think about all we've been through.
I know.
And the respect that you can have for me as a man. And for Mike Tomlin in that answer to take the high road. I think he took the high road. He didn't trash Antonio Brown. While this is all going on, simultaneously in some other bizarre universe, Antonio Brown has Jerry Rice Fathead behind him doing an Instagram Live with James Harrison, the most sour Steelers former player ever, and doing this in a totally different planet. It felt like an episode of Playmakers or Ballers. It didn't even feel real. I'll say this, though. Mike Tomlin, he's got a personal relationship with these men. I would have hoped to have seen them have a personal relationship in the darkest hour. And I think that's on Antonio. I think that's on Antonio to say, hey, I owe it to this man to at least get on the phone and talk to him personally and answer his call, to walk out of the practice, to walk out of that stuff on Saturday, to skip the run through, then to have your agent call him and say he's good to go.
Tacky.
No, it's tacky. It's below. It's not what Mike Tomlin deserves.
It's not professional.
It's not for what Tomlin's given the Steelers and Brown. I think he deserved that back. And I will say this. Where's Art
So
Rooney?
did his teammates.
Well, hold on. Let me say this. Where's Art Rooney? Where's Kevin Colbert? Why is Mike Tomlin up there always in the firing line? Where is Art Rooney? This is your star player.
Yeah.
Where is Kevin Colbert?
It's on a lot of people. It's on a lot of people. It's not just AB. It's just as a whole.
It's not
bunch of
just
people.
Tomlin.
No, I look at the Steelers as the Kennedys, and this incredible royalty. I reached out last night to a former Steeler, Super Bowl champion. Played with all these guys. I said, what's up? He said, Panic City. This is so much more than AB, so much more than Ben. This bleep's been going on for years, but we always win. That's over now. Cleveland and Baltimore look set for the future. Panic City. I do think it's cool, though, however. I think it's cool that with all this going on, the Steelers got together last night for a team photo. Did you see the picture?
No.
I'm not even allowed to show the Steelers team. There they are!
Wait, what do you mean by that?
Jesse James said it himself.
It feels very TMZ.
They went from the Kennedys to the Kardashians, and I'll tell you guys, they got the whole lineup. Tomlin is Kris Jenner, the mastermind of the whole thing, looks a lot younger than he is. Ben is Kim, team captain, faced the franchise, got great tape and can get people thrown out of the family. Married to Kanye, okay? AP is Kanye. Kanye, unbelievably talented, mercurial. You were rooting for him. He lets you down. I think that Le'Veon is Chloe, dislocated from the family. Tristan Thompson's his agent. Juju is Kendall, young, really cool, root for him, innocent, great on social media. James Harrison, Scott Disick, also out of the family, but shows up in videos. And you know what the best part is of the last 6 weeks? You know what we've learned? Lamar Jackson is Ray J, and we all watched it play out, and he's running this thing now.
my
That's
God!
the deal. Sorry, it's over.
I did not think we were going to get a Ray J in
From the
there.
Kennedys to the Kardashians.